أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. O you who believe, fear Allah and keep your duty to Him, and let every person look to what He has sent forth for the morrow, and fear Allah. Verily Allah is all aware of what you do. A few days ago, we bid farewell. We bid farewell for that very special month. How special was that month? It is the month where the final revelation was brought down. And the Muslims that came before us, when Ramadan would pass, they would feel sad because they knew the importance and the blessings in this month. They would be sad for months and months. For nearly 6 months they would be sad, and then they would become happy and yearning as Ramadan is approaching again. Some of us increase our worship during Ramadan and our generosity and doing good deeds, and that is all very good. But let us remember, especially for those brothers and sisters who have a habit of not doing the obligations, and then they hasten to do the sunnah, which is important. We as Muslims need to be focused, and we need to prioritize in our faith and in our religion. What does this mean? For those brothers and sisters who are not praying their 5 obligatory prayers throughout the year, and then during Ramadan they hasten to pray the Taraweeh at night, you are praying the sunnah and leaving the obligation, which is so important. Even our brothers and sisters who come to the Eid prayer, we see the masajid and we see the prayers, the prayer areas filled with hundreds or thousands of people. And that is good. But don't leave your Dhuhr prayer and Asr prayer and Maghrib prayer and Isha prayer and Fajr prayer and then focus on this once or twice a year for Eid, twice a year. So prioritize. We are not saying don't come to Taraweeh. Of course, that's good. We are not saying don't come to Eid prayer. Of course, that's good. But prioritize. And to be crystal clear, if you had to leave something, you would leave. If you had to, you would leave that and stick with the obligations, the 5 prayers that are an obligation. So focus, remain focused, and prioritize. Prioritize. As far as generosity and doing more good deeds during Ramadan, that is good, of course. But the door is open all year. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was generous all the time. In Ramadan, he was extra generous. But he was generous all the time. And one of his beautiful attributes, and he had so many beautiful attributes, was when people came to him for any need, any question, any issue, and so many people came to him with so many issues, so many questions, he would never turn them away. He would never ignore them. What a beautiful character. What a beautiful trait. So as we bid farewell to this beautiful month of Ramadan, remember those moments when you were fasting, not eating, and we were hungry, and sometimes tired and fatigued. Remember those moments that you did come and pray in the masjid, any prayer or the Taraweeh at night. If you came here, just like most masajid, what a beautiful center. Carpet, air conditioning when you need it, heating when you need it, running water. Remember those moments, and remember those brave children, those brave men and women, those patient men and women, those amazing children in Gaza, in Palestine, who had their masajid, their mosques destroyed. Because that is what the enemy is good at doing. The enemy was very good and has been good at destroying schools and masajid. And yes, in Gaza, a church or more. And of course, homes. That is the most ethical army. They call themselves the most ethical army. That means the army with the most akhlaq. And they call you and me terrorists. So I wonder who is the terrorist. When you have a strip of land, barely 20 miles north and south, and barely 5 miles across, with over 2 million people, who is the terrorist when 2 million people are now displaced? And who are the 2 million people? Men, women, and children. Oh, but they started it. Did they start it? Did the innocent children and innocent men and women start it? And where do you want to start? Do you want to start 6 months ago? Or do you want to start 80 years ago? Where should we start? They call you the terrorist. And in 6 months, they have broken records. Records when it comes to recorded wars. What are those records? Those despicable records? Destroying more schools in this short amount of time than any other war. That is the record. And destroying more masajid and places of worship. That is the record. Are you the terrorist? Or is it the one who has killed over 30,000 men, women, and children in 6 months? And you see, we keep focusing on 30,000, 40,000. What about the ones who we don't even know where they are? What about them? But let me be crystal clear about something. And this is something you need to know and teach it to your children very well. And every few years, remind them. Remind your children. You tell them perhaps one of the best communities that treated the Jewish community the best is the Muslim community throughout the ages. Let me repeat and focus and lend me your heart. And remember this. We are now in the year 1445 Hijri, which corresponds in part to 2024. For nearly 1,500 years, for nearly 1,500 years, Jewish individuals and communities have been living safely and securely in the Muslim world. Pick your continent and pick your country and choose the time. You want to talk about the Jewish community in Morocco in the past and in the present? You want to talk about the Jewish community in Egypt or any other country in Africa in the past, in the present? See how well they were treated by the Muslims. Was it 100% good all the time? Of course not. We would be lying, and we do not lie like other people. We do not lie. It was never perfect. It's never perfect for any group all the time. But in general, they were safe and secure in the Muslim world. And keep moving eastward. Move into Jordan, into Palestine, into Syria, into Syria, into Iraq. Keep moving westward and see how Jewish communities lived safely and in safety and security for hundreds of years under Muslim rule in the Muslim world. And keep moving eastward, even in Afghanistan. Anywhere you choose, look at the Muslim community and look at how we treated the Jewish communities. They were able to worship. They were left alone for the most part. And sometimes and some periods they thrived. They thrived. When did they thrive? In Al-Andalus, when the Muslims were there a few hundred years ago, in Spain and Portugal. Al-Andalus. Look at how the Jewish community thrived. And remind them that most of this persecution against them throughout the ages was not from Muslims. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic? Where is our thank you? Where is our thank you? And so, without spending too much time in all the details, when it comes to this issue and this state that was formed nearly 80 years ago, most of what the information you were given, most of the information that you were given, not just Muslims, I'm not just talking to Muslims, I'm talking to everybody, but especially our fellow Americans in the United States of America. Most of the information you have been given, just take it and flip it upside down, and then you'll have the truth. And then you'll have the truth. So when they call you a terrorist, you the Muslim, remind them. Remind them of the Haganah. Remind them of the Stern gangs. Remind them of the Ergon, who slaughtered Muslims and Christians in Palestine, in our generation, in your parents' generation. And they call you the terrorists. But those were terrorist groups. Yes, Jewish terrorist groups. Yes. Are you uncomfortable? We can't say that. You can call some Christians bad. Here in America and anywhere in the world, you can call some Christians bad and evil. You can call Muslims bad and evil. You can call black people, or some of them black, or white, or Latino. You can call some of them bad and evil. Whatever religious group, whatever ethnic group, but we cannot say there are bad Jews. Well, if you're uncomfortable, if you're worried, then think twice and think thrice. There you go. No, I'm not scared. No, I'm not worried. No, I am not uncomfortable to say the truth. Everything is upside down. Let me repeat and correct myself. Almost everything. You see, they call you the terrorist. You see the picture they paint. Because some of you might be thinking, you know, brother, we hear about some Muslims in different parts of the world. They do this, they do that. You know, the way they're killing people. The things they use, the different things they use. Okay. So it's very simple for Muslims. If any Muslim commits something that is haram, that is forbidden, then we will be the first to say that is haram and that is forbidden. We will not protect a Muslim if you do something against the religion, against the Sharia. And by the way, many of the things that are a crime in Islam are a crime in different governments, different worlds, different countries, different societies. So if you commit something or a crime, we will say that's a crime. We condemn it. Hold them responsible. So we have no issue. If it's haram, if it's forbidden, it's haram. But let me ask you this. Because now so many of us are programmed. Do you think it's much better to drop a 1-ton or 2-ton bomb on anyone in the world? Is that a better way to die? Think about it. You might say, oh brother, look, if a 1-ton bomb drops right here on top of me, you're dead instantly. At least it's a quick death. Really? Now let's put aside if it's just or unjust. Let's put that aside. If I die instantly and the 20 men right around me die instantly, what about the 100 women and children and men in the back who do not die instantly? And they are maimed, and they are burned, and they are crushed, and they are under the basement, not able to breathe for days and days because of that bomb. Is that better? Is that humanity? And this is what our government is doing. If you're here like me in America, and if you are an American citizen like me, then this is what our government does. Not everyone. But is it better that someone in a suit or a dress goes to Capitol Hill and signs something and says, go ahead, drop bombs. Drop bombs on Afghanistan. Is that better? That makes us better or them better? Think about it. Think about your children in Gaza who are unknown, unaccounted for. Put yourself right there. Put yourself right there when that bomb drops and destroys a house. And then for 2 days and 3 days and 4 days, you hear your 7-year-old daughter crying under the rubble. You hear her, but we cannot reach her. We cannot do anything. And then the 4th day, it gets more quiet. And the 5th day, it gets more quiet. And then it goes silent. And then they make you think they are the moral army. You see how fooled we have been? Some of us, not all of us. And so we end this first khutbah and remind everybody that even when the Nazis came and they were persecuting Jews, some of those communities came to the Muslim world to find safety and security. And when Al-Andalus fell, after many years, many decades of Christians and Muslims and Jews living well under the Muslim rule in Al-Andalus, when that ended and the persecution and the crimes were committed against Muslims and Jews, some of those Jews did not go further north into Europe. They decided to go to the Muslim world to find safety and security. Yes, we remind them and we remind ourselves. There is no existential threat here except against our brothers and sisters. And it's not just the Muslims. There are Christians there that are also suffering. And it's not just those two groups. There are other groups. And it's not just there. It's also in the West Bank. Al-Aqsa. Al-Aqsa. Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is in the West Bank. And our brothers and sisters and children there are also suffering. So we thank those Jews and Christians and others who have been protesting for months, who have been working hard for months to say justice in Palestine. We thank them. They are out there. We know you are out there, and it's making a difference. But we are here on this day of Jumu'ah, and almost everyone in here is Muslim. And so I ask you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Brother, I've given already. Okay, let's give some more. Brother, I don't deal with politics. Okay, let the men and women who deal with it contact their Congress people. Brother, I'm not into this, into that. Okay, find your spot and do something for your children in Palestine. Do something. And we have not forgotten our children anywhere else in the world. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. This part of the ayah in the Arabic language Listen carefully. Allah is not saying here, Al-mu'minuna ikhwa, the believers are brothers. He's saying, Innama al-mu'minuna ikhwa. This innama, this setup in the Arabic language is a kind of emphasis. The believers are nothing other than brothers. We are one. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, if part of the body is feeling pain, the rest of the body responds. We are one body, as he said. We are one body. So don't forget that. And we have not forgotten our children in Sudan, Somal, Kashmir, or anywhere else. But let's not forget Ula al-Qiblatayn, the first of the two Qiblas. What is that? The first of the two Qiblas. Our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for nearly 1 year and 4 months, before he was praying specifically toward the Kaaba in Mecca, he was praying towards where? Al-Aqsa, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, in Al-Quds, aka also known as Jerusalem. That is what and where he was praying until the command came to pray towards the first house of worship on this earth. The first house of worship placed on this earth is Al-Kaaba in Mecca. The second house of worship placed on this earth was Al-Aqsa in Al-Quds. But he first prayed for nearly 1.5 years towards Al-Aqsa until the command came. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد. What an honor. What an honor that it is this ummah, this nation, the Muslim ummah, that believes in all of the true prophets of Allah and respects all of the true prophets of Allah. What an honor. Black, white, brown, olive, wherever you're from Nigeria to Indonesia, you, my brother, you, my sister, are the son and daughter of Adam. What an honor. And what an honor for us as Muslims to love and respect all the prophets. Other communities do not do that. We do that. All the true prophets. We believe in the qadar of Allah. We believe in preordainment, destiny. We believe in it. And before anything, we submit and surrender to Allah Azza wa Jal. But remember and train yourself always, when you make dua for anything, try to follow it up with action. So if you are heartbroken about what's happening in Gaza and Palestine, that means your heart is alive. But dust yourself off and do something about it. First we make dua and then we follow it up with action. Today we have one of our trusted charities, Kinder USA. They are here. You will see their boxes. You will see their pamphlets. They have been able to help on the ground in Gaza. Yes, it's very difficult. Some charities are waiting for things to be shipped in, and there are border restrictions. So how is anything getting in? Well, Kinder USA has been in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, for 17 years. So even when the war started, a genocide started, they were still able to communicate with their farmers in Gaza and their vendors in Gaza and say, you produce and we will distribute and do what you can. A lot of these farmers have lost their land, but some are still able to produce. Akhi, it's a war. We hear nothing is getting in, nothing is getting out. Well, if you want 100 excuses or one excuse, you will find it. But this organization is able to help on the ground up until this moment. They are not waiting for things to come in. Again, they are dealing with people on the ground. There is still a life in Gaza. People are searching for food. People are searching for water. People are helping each other. People are praying like you, Jumu'ah, but near the rubbles of the masajid. We thank you. We thank those brave women and children of Gaza. We thank you. During Ramadan and now, praying outside in the rubble, near the rubble of the masajid, near the rubble of their homes. We thank you for that bravery, for that sincerity. And we will help as much as we can. So if you have detailed questions, you can ask me outside. Everything Kinder USA does is legal. They are in good standing with the Treasury Department of the United States. It's a 501c3, so you can give zakatul mal or any zakah or sadaqah to them. You can give zakatul mal in advance. In case you are waiting for a certain moment to give zakatul mal, you can give all of it or part of it in advance. You can swipe your card safely and securely out with me, or just find a box and put cash, or simply go to kinderusa.org. It's spelled kinder, Kinder, USA.org. They are helping. They are able to help on the ground, and they are helping in the West Bank, and they are also helping refugees in Lebanon, but their focus is really Palestine. I ask Allah to keep us healthy and wealthy so we can give back. I ask Allah to give us the highest place in Jannah al-Firdaus. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت اللهم أدخلنا الفردوس. قوموا إلى صلاتكم.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
There's space in the back row. So there's some space in the last row. Please try to fill that up. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So again, just please, on your way out, give generously. We're not going to ask you to raise your hand. We want you to give for the sake of Allah first, and then we want you to give from the heart. So any amount you want to donate, I will be on the main floor downstairs near a table, but there are boxes mainly at every entrance or exit. You can use those, or you can meet me downstairs, or just go online. Barakallahu feekum wa barakallahu alaykum. Please hold on for some important announcements.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for circulating the donation box and donate generously as usual. Jazakallah khair for that. Imam and Khatib was Brother Ibrahim Abu Sway. He is from Kinder, USA, as you heard. Jazakumullah khair, powerful khutbah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and his family. Amin ya rabbil alamin. If you park in Imam parking lot, please leave as soon as possible. You can do Salah Jumu'ah Sunnah at home. Jazakumullah khair for that also. There is the Imam Indonesian DMB community present Halal Bihalal Eid of Fitri Bazaar on Sunday, May 5th, 2024, location to be announced. So please stay tuned for that. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.